Plants are talking all the time. Not with words, obviously, but with this secret chemical language that runs their entire lives. So today, we're going to crack that code from the moment a seed sprouts to when a fruit gets perfectly ripe. I mean, think about it. Have you ever bought a bunch of green bananas, left them on your counter, and then one day, bam, they're all perfectly yellow? What was the signal? What told them it was time? Well, it's not magic. It's a chemical conversation, and we're about to eavesdrop. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll get to know these secret messengers. Then, we're going to meet the hormone team, the key players. We'll see them in action in a couple of really cool experiments, and then we'll see how we're already using this secret language to change the world around us. Okay, let's pull back the curtain. Who are these secret messengers that are running the whole show? Well, at the very heart of all this are plant hormones. These are tiny chemical signals that plants make themselves, and in incredibly small amounts, they basically act like the plant's software, telling it what to do, when to do it, everything from growing towards the sun to dropping its leaves in the fall. Now, it's best to think of these not as just one thing, but as a whole team of specialists. There are 5 main players, and each one has a very, very specific job to do. And here's the starting lineup. You've got your growth architect, auxin, your ripening manager, ethylene, and even a growth inhibitor, which is kind of like the brakes on a car. But what's really wild is that it's often the balance between them that makes the call. A little more auxin might tell the plant to focus on roots, but a bit more cytokinin says, nope, let's grow more shoots. It's a constant negotiation. Okay, so that's all theory. Let's see the proof, right? This first experiment is going to show us how these chemical signals literally spark a seed to life. The goal here is super simple. Let's just watch what happens when we give seeds a specific hormonal instruction right from the get-go. The setup couldn't be easier. We've got 4 dishes of seeds. The first one just gets plain old water. That's our control group, our baseline. The other 3 each get a specific hormone. One gets a type of gibberellin, one gets an auxin, and the last one gets a cytokinin. Then we just let them do their thing. So, what commands did these hormones give the seeds? Well, the results are pretty amazing. And the results really speak for themselves. I mean, look at this. The control seeds, the ones with just water, they grew, sure. But the seeds that got the auxin treatment, whoa. That growth architect sent a powerful, loud and clear signal to build a massive root system and to do it fast. This is that secret language in action, plain as day. So, hormones control how life starts. But what about the other end of the story? Our second experiment zooms in on that ripen now signal, and we're putting the ripening manager to the test. And this time, we're going to see the direct effect of one specific hormone, ethylene, on something we've all seen a million times, a green banana turning ripe. Again, the setup here is just beautiful in its simplicity. We take 2 groups of green bananas and seal them in bags. One bag is left completely alone. That's our control. The other bag gets a tiny, tiny puff of ethylene gas. That's it. That is the only difference. Then we just sit back and watch. So what's the big deal? What difference could one little puff of gas possibly make? Did the bananas even hear the message? Oh, they heard it all right. After 4 days, the control bananas are just starting to turn a little yellow, still pretty firm. But the bananas that got that ethylene signal, they are fully yellow, soft, and ready to eat. That single puff of gas was a command that kicked the entire ripening process into overdrive. It's incredible. And that brings us to the really cool part. See, understanding this language isn't just a fun science experiment. We've actually learned to speak it ourselves, and we use it to hack the plant code every single day. If you've ever used one of those rooting powders to grow a new plant from a cutting, guess what? You were using auxins to send that grow roots now command. You know those giant seedless grapes you see in the store? They're often sprayed with gibberellins to get them that big. And our banana experiment, that's not a trick. That is exactly how the global fruit industry works. Ship them green and then ripen them on demand with ethylene gas right before they hit the grocery store. So we've learned not just to listen to, but to actually speak the secret language of plants. We can tell them how to grow and when to ripen, which really just leaves us with one last fascinating question. If we've already hacked the code for rooting and ripening, what other secret conversations are happening all around us, just waiting to be decoded?